Hello, everybody. I'm Shubhankar. I'm a sales engineer at Browserbase, and today I'm joined by Tushar Jain, the head of engineering at Docker. Really excited to be speaking to you today.
Likewise, it's great to be here. It's a phenomenal conference.
Yes, we are at AI Engineers World Fair. I'm curious, what brings you here? What are you most excited about speaking with people here?
Sure. Well, look, one, this is just an exciting time, right? So, like being at a conference like this where everyone's building, as president is there, it's great just for learning and meet everyone. Where Docker has a booth, we're giving a few talks. I'm giving a talk later. So that's why I'm here. Give the talk, meet a bunch of people, see what everyone's doing.
Very exciting. Yes, I've been speaking to so many engineers over here, and there's so many ideas floating around. Uh, I'm curious, what's your talk about? What are you going to be
Yeah.
sharing with the
Sure.
world?
So, look, our core thesis is, I assume everyone knows Docker, everyone uses Docker. Think of it as containers and portability. We think sort of at this point, look, agents are here. Intelligence is not the bound anymore. We think like safety is actually the big constraint for how to unlock agents. And to unlock safety, you have to do it across models, across harnesses at a base layer. We think runtime is the right place to do it. So sort of rebuilding, Docker for Docker Engine, we're rebuilding that as a new runtime with safety as a first class primitive in there for agents, with containment, scoped access, etc. And it's distributed, runs locally, runs in the cloud and in VPC, etc. So it's like an agent runtime that's distributed with safety as a core primitive.
Interesting. When I build agents myself, I have the stack of a sandbox, and then I have tool calls. I potentially have a browser from Browserbase that I interact with the world. In that sort of stack, does Docker sort of take up the sandbox, the runtime layer? Is that how?
Yeah, a little bit and more, right? So maybe one way to think about is, I think there's like sort of three pillars how we think about this. One, you need to contain the agent, so give them some place to run. That's typically what it calls a sandbox, right? But for us, look, people will compose sandboxes as they need to, but I think a core thing we should start doing is moving away from these like big sandboxes where you put all the capabilities as the work evolves and have task scoped ones. So if an agent's doing work, let's say it's investigating latency spike, it starts doing that. Then it decides, oh, I need to look up the service, get its logs. Oh, let me go research the web for something about this. Let me search internal Slack. All of that makes sense, but it's like expanding the scope of trust. And as you put all those permissions in the same place, you're increasing your transitive trust and risk. Instead, let's scope those out into individual sandboxes. Let's give you the tools, but scope them. So if you're using Browserbase, you can get access to search, but it'd be better if I could limit what exactly the agent can search based on what it needs. So it can't all of a sudden try to go like fetch something else, right? So it's give you the sandbox, give you the tools, but layer on policy, governance, intelligently on top of that.
Interesting. So, based on your security posture that you want to adopt, you can choose to open certain URLs, you can choose to expose certain tools or databases based on how this agent is being provisioned to the real world.
Exactly. And ideally go further, not just open the database, but restrict what exactly you can do in there. Give it the finest scope possible for the task at hand. And then this has to be dynamic and smart because it changes the runtime. And now the runtime has to run everywhere, locally, wherever you do work, locally in the cloud, be able to scale out as you do that. So that's sort of it's like a fundamental Docker engine reimagined
Interesting.
for this.
Very cool. I'm curious on your take on these long-running background agents workload that is emerging. You see, in San Francisco, people are sort of walking around with their laptops half open so that their agent doesn't die because their Claude code is open or Codex is open. How do you see Docker sort of coming in and sort of solving that problem of background agents, if it may?
Yeah, a few things there. One, when people are walking around the laptop, half of them, they're not actually doing background agents. They're just running local agents forever. That they
This
can't-
cosplaying.
So that's like not right. So that we should solve and make it easy to just offload that to the cloud. Just run that in the cloud. That's easy.
Yeah.
But as you look at background agents, I think there are a number of things there, right? One, look, there'll be many agents, many agent harnesses, and many models. I think that's going to be a very competitive space and a place for lots of advancement. They need context, people will advance those, but they need a place to run. They need a place to do that safely. And more importantly, to get benefit from those, people have to trust them and give them all the access. Also, today we talk a lot about coding.
Yep.
And clearly it's a big focus, but like we're gonna expand from there. And even in coding, if you go into like ops,
Yep.
all of a sudden everyone's gonna like pause a second,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Am
yeah.
I gonna let my agent touch my database, my production database?
Yeah.
So safety becomes a key. So to us, like safety becomes a key part
Yeah.
as you start expanding how you think about these background agents, OpenClaw, NanoClaw,
Yeah.
etc. Right? And so for us, it's like give them a place to run and scale,
Yeah.
let them move up and down locally, remotely, but then make it safe in particular.
Yeah. I have my own OpenClaw running on a GCP instance, and every day I'm scared if everything is configured correctly. I'm going and checking my instance logs if there's no untoward activity. And I think it'd be so much more helpful if I had the peace of mind that, okay, I have set up everything correctly and Docker's taking care of that.
Right. And you say you have an open claw instance. On the
Yes.
setup, it's like not doing anything wrong today
Yeah.
because these things are autonomous.
Yeah.
They decide or they get prompted to do
Yeah.
something, right?
Yeah.
So if you had like something outside there acting as like a safety layer as a judge and you could see that would help, or like alert anomalous actions,
Yeah.
right? That would give you peace of mind. Like to me, the test is, am I ready to set up open claw for my mom to do stuff? No, I'm not.
Mm.
I did it for myself and I'm kind of terrified. Once they started texting me on my WhatsApp, I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm going to take a breath here and think through this.
Yeah, I had to create a whole new account for myself.
Right.
So I wanted to like make sure that it doesn't touch into my personal contacts and start messing around there. It's one of those things where while prototyping, you don't think about security as much. You're just trying to get things to work. But as soon as you start thinking about productionizing this, all the use cases out in the wild, and your security team's asking all kinds of questions, you're like, okay, what's the scalable architecture here?
Yeah, exactly. Right. And then also, I think this will increase. Um, we won't use just frontier models, right? Like
Mm.
we're all living through the GLM 5.2 craze right now, right? And that's the start.
Yeah.
And so, as you want to use, you'll use models from many people.
Yeah.
And as you want to use open models, the frontier labs do invest a lot in safety and thinking about that, right? And not just at training time, but at runtime. They have entire safeguard stack that's running. That's typically not there for open models. And so it becomes even more critical to enable access for
Mm.
privacy or low cost with open models that you need. So this becomes a key thing for us as you think about this.
One thing I was wondering was I'm sure your engineering team that you're leading has a very unique workflow where I guess you are dog fooding your own runtime to
Yes.
do your internal development. I'm curious, how has development changed over the last 6 months or a year? It's like, how are your engineers empowered to do background running tasks?
Yeah.
What are some newer things that they are able to do now versus they weren't?
Yeah, I mean, look, I expect our story is the same as a lot of people, right? So, look, if I go back, like, I don't know, a year or something now, I was at the point where I was like, hell, we got to start doing this. And I had pockets that were ahead and pockets that were behind, and like deep parts of the stack, like our VM, they were like, we do hard engineering, man. We're not going to use these like rinky agents to build
Yeah.
that stuff. That's where I was, like, let's say a year ago.
Yeah.
Everything changed, of course. A is we keep working on it, and then post December, January, all change. At this point, it's like 100% agents, but also moved on from just pure interactive agent use to people are building use. People are building workflows that go from issue to PR.
Yeah.
We've got like whole new tech built that I don't think we would have even attempted if not for agents. And then of course seeing all the gains. So I've gone now from pushing this to like, all right, now my inference bill is a little bit run amok. And so I'm not going to slow down innovation. Now I'm doing the next part, which is like build the system, run on runtime, and let's just smart routing underneath the covers. And also GLM is like very active thing internally. We're starting to test it out and run it and see where we can leverage it.
I'm curious, are you seeing gains with like I know there's this whole token maxing wave and now there's like min maxing. How can you maximize the value with your minimum? How are you seeing these open models coming at the big?
Honestly, in a number of places they'll be there, but I think GLM in particular is interesting because, like, for example, we do some of this already where we route internally between Opus and Sonnet and Haiku and
Yeah.
etc. Right, manage that. But for like reasoning tasks, which is where you end up spending a lot, GLM seems quite interesting. We're not at the point internally where I'd say we materially moved over to it,
Yeah.
but now we're like very actively testing and evolving and made it available so people can test it out. And over time, I think what I want to get to is it's another reason why I think people need their own harness, an open harness,
Yeah.
or at least a neutral one. so I can route between frontier models and open models seamlessly. That's actually the world to live in, right? To get there. So working towards that now.
Right. I'm guessing your engineering teams have built a custom harness for their own development workloads.
Yeah, we have a bit of everything. So we have built that.
Yeah.
Not everyone has adopted that yet. I do have a lot of people in Codex and Cloud Code. As we're building our platform out, we're basically going to put everyone on this platform that we're all selling.
Yeah. We ourselves at Browserbase have built internal agents. We call this BB, short for Browserbase, which essentially connects to all of our database, all of our systems, tools that we
Yeah.
use in GTM or engineering. And if you have a question in Slack, you just tag BB and it sort of spins up a sandbox in the
Yep.
background with the right sort of security perimeter. If it's navigating to a URL, there's a human in the loop and you approve or deny. And it's a pretty cool harness when you sort of look at it in its entirety. And it's really cool to see each company building their own version
It
of the
is.
same.
And I'm honestly interested to see how like Slack's become an interface for this. So we've done the same for like data analytics. Or key thing used to be our data team used to die under like data analytics questions. Now there's just an agent. Ask it. And we do a bunch of work honestly on permissioning and authorization and permission management of all that.
I wonder, is permissioning based on like user roles or like user groups something that you're also envisioning for Docker as well? Would you be going in that direction?
So it is based on that. And I think it's to go beyond that. We actually need agent identity.
Yep.
Because I have access to something. Look, end of the day, you trust humans because you can fire humans. They care about something. Agents have no such feedback mechanism, really. No fundamental such need, right? So even though we trust you with some access, doesn't mean I trust your agents with the same access, right? And I need to know when you're acting with when the agent is doing it, so I can scale appropriately. So for us, companies have their own identity system. That's fine. We will have to build and integrate an agent identity system that plugs into that and then manage workload identity alongside that. Right now, to be clear, we're early stages. We are sort of doing this thing where like you sort of leverage the human approval, but I think we should move beyond that.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about agent identity a lot at Browserbase as well. An agent is going on my behalf and like booking a tennis court reservation for me, right? And I am giving it my login credentials or my credit card information to go
Right.
and book for me. And we call these like verified agents with an identity that I grant to it. In fact, very funnily, we have like these agent passports that we're giving out to people at the conference today. It's like now agents have their own passport where they can sort of show their identity and go to different places. Yeah, I think it's a extremely important space for us as an ecosystem to figure out is how will agents access systems.
Exactly. Because like there is, in your case, like there could be an agent that says this, but it still does not, it shouldn't get all the same permissions you have.
Yeah.
It should get just what it needs, scoped down to exactly what it is, right?
Yeah. System, your least privileges that you want to grant it.
Yeah.
Amazing. I wanted to ask you, what's your hot take in this world of AI agents and building infrastructure? Like, what's your...
I don't know if it's a hot take or not, but look, right now we're living through a period where I'd say like, everyone's sort of on Cloud Code and Topic. I just don't think that'll be the future, right? One, I think open models are definitely here to stay, and they're only going to increase. I don't think actually regulation, the way we're doing it, is helping because you can't really govern open models, and also like what does it do internationally?
Yeah.
So I think the world we live in actually will be neutral harnesses running across many models. Companies will care about sovereignty more and more now. So I think open models are going to increase as a result of that. And yeah, we'll do that for cost or performance reasons, and it will like not be the current shape that we all see.
No, open models, neutral harnesses. Love this discussion, Tushar.
Great. Thank you. Good talking to you.